punishing and forgiving by Krishna's mercy. Kulisahu chahi kathor ati komal kusumahu chahi, chitt khages ram kar, samuji pari kahu kahi. Quote, harder than the thunderbolt when he wants and softer than a flower when he wants, tell me, O King of birds, who can understand the mind of Shri Rama? Dohavali 161. This verse from Goswami Tulsidas also appears in his Ramacharitamanasa. The placement in the Dohavali appears to be intentional, as the immediately preceding verses highlight incidents on the two extremes. This apparent contradiction, which is difficult to comprehend, provides further insight into the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The symbol of punishment in this regard is the thunderbolt. It is so hard that it can pierce through mountains. It can destroy in a manner that the target has little recourse. If there is a terrific storm approaching with accompanying thunder and lightning, the safest option is to head for cover. Wait out the attack until the threat has moved on. We have the historical incident of the first Govardhan Puja to show the potency to such strikes. This attack was instigated directly by the King of Heaven, who holds jurisdiction over the different kinds of clouds. Indra instructed the Samvartaka cloud to inundate the area surrounding Govardhan Hill, such that the people and their innocent animals would be washed away. Quote, as the director of different kinds of clouds, Indra called for the Samvartaka. This cloud is invited when there is a need to devastate the whole cosmic manifestation. The Samvartaka was ordered by Indra to go over Vrindavan and inundate the whole area with an extensive flood. Demonically, Indra thought himself to be the all-powerful Supreme Personality. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vol 1, Kh 25. The distinction in that case is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was there to mitigate the threat. As the young child of bluish complexion, Sri Krishna lifted the massive Govardhan hill and used it as an umbrella. The hard as adamant weapons from Indra could do no harm to the people. But when the Supreme Lord follow the same tendency, there is nothing that can be done to protect the targets.
This was seen in the incident of the slaying of Vali, who was the king of Dohavali.
Shri Rama released an arrow that was unforgiving in its travel, in its intent, and in its subsequent damage. This was a cold-hearted way to bring down an enemy, but the mind of the Supreme Lord was already made up. At the same time, Rama can be softer than the flower. The example here is the acceptance of the Rakshasa named Vibhishan. There was nothing held against that younger brother of Ravan. There was no guilt by association. The judge and jury in this case were a single person. The Supreme Lord gave shelter to Vibhishan, who had nowhere else to turn. Vibhishan was essentially poor Garib. Due to the disagreement with his brother Ravan, Ravan was on the sinful path, and this decision did not align with Vibhishan's nature. The level of kindness shown by Rama in this incident cannot properly be measured. The crow named Kaka marvels at this dual-sidedness. He rhetorically asks the question to Garud as to who can possibly understand the cheetah, which is the mind or heart of Shri Rama. The very nature of the participants in this conversation shows a similar dual-sidedness. A crow is kind of a degraded bird. It is known to rummage through rubbish. The eagle, meanwhile, is the king of the birds, most respected. Kaka addresses Garud as Khagesha. Though one is a bird and one is an eagle, both are on the liberated platform. They are held in high regard due to their devotion to Shri Rama. The Supreme Lord will do anything for his devotees. If the situation calls for strictness, firm resolve and punishing action, Rama will not hesitate. If a person fully surrenders in the mood of Sharanagati, then they will be accepted, no matter what society has to say on the matter. As on one side he can be the most punishing, and on the other he can be the most forgiving, it is impossible to predict the behavior of Shri Rama. Therefore the wise choose the way of Sugriv and Vibhishan. They follow surrender, out of intelligence, out of knowledge of the qualities of the Supreme Lord, and out personal experience of the difficulty in trying to stop the waves of the ocean that is the material existence. The Supreme Lord sorts everything else out, in the manner that he sees fit, while the surrendered souls remain under the shelter of the one who heroically lifted the mighty Govardhan. In closing, heroically to lift, after Indra with rift, striking with lightning and rain, but the innocent shelter to gain, supreme similarly hard and forgiving, like Vibhishan in his camp living, and Vali shot in the back for Sugriv such an attack,